Images and or videos are given credit when possible. This video is made under the United States copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of the United States of America Copyright Act of 1976, which allowance is made for what is determined as fair use, for such purposes as criticism, comment, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, and research. Fair use is a use permitted by United States copyright statute. In a small town in rural America, this skeleton on the right allegedly was found, and this is a physician's medical table. The alleged 8-foot-long skeleton laying on the town's physician's examination table, from there, the top of his head, where the red arrow is pointing to, down to where the next red arrow points to the feet, was estimated to be about 8 feet long. The gentleman, the man laying next to the skeleton on the floor, is to give an idea about how long the skeleton is compared anatomically to a 6-foot tall man as well. The 6-foot tall man laid next to the alleged 8-foot long skeleton, laying down on the town physician's examination table to the right. The skeleton. Now, the 6-foot tall man, from there, the top of his head, to there, next where the red arrow points, to the bottom of his feet, is approximately 6 feet in height. Now, if this was an isolated condition due to abnormal growth of the possible skeleton on the right, because of what is also known as gigantism, is a malfunction medically of usually the pituitary gland. The case in this situation, it is not impossible for gigantism, which refers to abnormally high linear growth due to excessive action of insulin like growth factor IGF-1, that usually appears in children and can make them grow unusually fast. However, acromegaly is also similar, and it is in adults instead, but it is predominantly in the adult and is aggressive in adults, making them grow to unusual heights, where opposed to the children, the growth plate cartilage is fused together in adulthood, where when younger it is not. This medical report was made by this doctor. However, very little is known about the following case. In Stewart-All, Russia, a 9-foot 3-inch giant that was verified by very conservative dictionaries and also encyclopedias at the time was mentioned. In 1882, at Stewart-All, Russia, a baby named Mashknow was born. He eventually grew to a height of 9 feet 3 inches and weighed 360 pounds. Mashknow became history's tallest man on record in Russia, and even the most conservative of British encyclopedias accepted the height of 9 feet 3 inches for his height accurately. From his wrist to the top of his second forefinger in the middle, reported to have been approximately almost 2 feet long. The Russian giant exhibited in London, the United States, Germany, and also in other countries as well, for instance, like in Holland and elsewhere. Here is a picture of Mashknow in approximately 1882, as we see here. However, the best known giant was Robert Pershing Wadlow, and he was born in 1918 and lived to 1940. He reached a height that was very, very well documented at 8 feet 11 inches, 0.1 inches, weighed 200, and he also weighed 490 pounds. To the left is his father, seen here as we zoom in on him, that's about 5 feet 11 inches tall. He was 9 feet, almost 9 feet in height as well. And this is very well documented as we see the tremendous height of almost 9 feet. Julius Koch also grew to a height of 8 feet 9 inches long. His skeleton is on display in the Natural History Museum in Mons, Belgium, and may also be seen in detail at tallestman.com. Here he is extending his hand out, and he is on the right. Here is seen with his father to the left, about 5 foot 11, his mother sitting down. But to get an idea about how tall he really was, we now take a look at the next image and take the height of his mother sitting down and then move vertically from the top of her head and go upwards. And as we do, we get a better sense of just how tall he was at almost 9 feet in height, or accurately 8 feet 9.0 inches as well. However, not long he died, and an autopsy was made of his body. Here is the first page in the autopsy report of Julius Koch. But to get an idea how big he really was and how big someone would be almost 9 feet tall would be, here's his skeleton on display in the Natural Museum of History in Mons, Belgium. But to even get a better idea about how big this skeleton really is and people that get to this height, we now see it here in this next and final part of this video. We see his skull, we see the top part of his skeleton, torso, upper arms, and as we move down, his legs, the size of both of his left and right hands where we can see it, all the way down to the bottom and back up to the top again, showing that it's not so impossible that even though it's a medical condition, that people in history could have been close to 9 or 10 feet tall, even when it comes to what was known as possibly the biblical Nephilim as well.